Hi, Ethan. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing great. And to start, we talked to Tribeca, and I really loved that this movie feels very like it feels like a Carolinas movie. And I know that's where you guys filmed it and everything. But how did you make sure that that carried across so that like people didn't have to know the vibe, but if you went to school in the Carolinas, you definitely understood exactly what this school's kind of situation was?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our goal was to make it accessible to like anybody who has been to college. And I think that like particularly with the South and whatnot, like having Bo who lives in Charleston playing Mitch and having Nick Basile, Mason, and Sal coming in from Columbia, South Carolina, where they were in a fraternity at the time we shot the movie, like uh uh was super helpful and just like making sure, I think that yeah, like their presence and I think we can all kind of like relate to wanting to fit in and relate to like the way in which we as Americans kind of like value institutions over anything else. And I don't know.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And it was also like the when I talked to you guys about that at Tribeca, it was like when Lewis Pullman was like, "Did you know we went to school next to each other?" I was like, "No, I didn't," because I also went to school in the Carolinas. But it. I do love that this movie, which has the vibe of like, yeah, it's the boys' club, it's all about the boys, but it also makes a commentary on these kind of guys at the
Yeah.
same time. And I think that's so smart because I grew up in the generation where we loved stories like this, even all of the girls. Like if anything, most of the girls I know liked those movies more than actual guys did. But when you are doing something like this that's making a commentary on not only fraternities, but like the kind of guys who would be those guys in a fraternity, if that makes sense, how do you kind of like strike the balance between like not preaching, but still making it clear, like, hey, like what these guys are doing is not actually cool?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, we always wanted to make a movie where, you're observing this kind of like thing unfold and it is familiar, but also uncomfortable. And you're like, watching Tom like make decisions that you don't condone, but that you understand, I guess. And I feel like, to me, like Lewis Pullman's character is very important because he represents the kind of like I don't know, he's like about protecting the house at all costs. And like, um he's about his public face more than anything else. And I feel like, a lot of Lewis's references were like politicians. So we would like, I like sent him videos of Josh Hawley and some others.
Well, yeah, and I love too how you can still like with this cast, you can tell that they all very much were got along and were friends, despite like the subject matter and what these guys in the actual movie are doing with to each other. But it works with this movie to know like these guys were that close and like actually understood one another when it came to acting. How important was it for you to make sure that they had that camaraderie so then like when it got to scenes where they really needed to trust each other, they it was already built in?
Well, it's funny, like, so, we shot this before Lewis and Austin had worked together on Starling Girl.
Mm.
Um, so this was right before. And so it was literally like, we shot this during Omicron at the end of 2021. And if you got COVID, we had to rewrite you out of the movie. And so it was the thing where we had to isolate together, which was a challenge for a number of reasons, but also kind of an incredible opportunity for them all to bond.
Mhm.
And And yeah, they just like I mean, my whole thing is just like I'm incredibly grateful to have the entire cast and crew invested and present, and like I don't really like I don't know. I wanted to kind of give the actors freedom to um I don't know. I felt like I had very good rapport with each of them, and then I kind of just let them hang.
Well, I love that because it also you have such a it's a unique time for a lot of the people that are in this movie because it's like it's right before August kind of really blew up. It's right before like Lewis Pullman blew up because of Top Gun Maverick, and even Austin Abrams had just been in Dash and Lily, so people just were starting to really recognize who. So it's such a fun little cast to look at and be like, well, now we know who 90% of these people are. But when the movie was being shot, I don't know that that was necessarily the case. How is it for you now getting to see all of like the success they had and knowing like, yeah, well, this was like a really cool time before all of that, that we now have the memory of these actors kind of just being in this movie all together.
I mean, incredible. And I can't say I'm surprised by any of their success because they were that good. And like, I was like, it was incredible to like have the opportunity to work with them. And I think probably, I can't speak for them, but I think probably watching each other succeed has given them all more confidence and that they fed off each other. Like I know that, Lewis made Austin Abrams tape for Wolves, the movie he was just in, and made his audition tape with him. And, like they, yeah, it's incredibly special. And I'm gonna be rooting for all of them for the rest of their careers, and think that, just feel grateful. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and I want to ask about Alex because I do love that you have him as a lead in this because he is so charming, and that's why people have loved him for so long because it's like him and his brother are two very charming people. But when you have him in a movie like this, where it is kind of you're using it both to an advantage and a disadvantage, how is it for you getting to work with him and understand like working on that character and making sure the audience was like very invested in his arc?
Um, it was incredible to work with him. I mean, to have an actor, a lead who like wants to go to the University of South Carolina to Columbia to like be at a fraternity beforehand. So it's comes from an authentic place. It's like a luxury.
Mhm.
So, and then, it's like Alex made the decision to go to Columbia, and then Austin Abrams was going there to their formal to get in character. And it's like, I don't know, just like when you have somebody who gives 110% and that's the bar, like it's incredible.
Yeah, I love it. And for my last question, I do want to ask because it is so exciting. So, like we said before we started recording, it's been a minute since we talked about this movie at Tribeca, and so it is very exciting. I'm for me, and so I'm definitely assuming for you that it is coming out and more people are going to get to see the line. What is the most exciting part about that whole journey for you, going from Tribeca to now a year and a half later, getting to have a larger audience see it?
I mean, seeing it through, like there were like a lot of moments where I like doubted, or like I didn't know if I'd ever get an opportunity to do it, or and I don't know. I just like yesterday we had the opportunity to screen it at USC and then at the Los Feliz 3, which is like a theater that I grew up going to. And in the USC screening, some of the college kids responded in ways that made me happy that I made it. And yeah, and I it was great to like get to show it in LA, and I just feel happy. I don't know.
Cannot wait for more people to get to see it because then I get to talk to people about it because I've only talked to the cast and you since it came out. But thank you so much for talking
Thank
to
you
me
so
today.
much, and I appreciate all your support, and thanks
Of course.
for everything.
Of course. Thank you. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.